Yeah. So, two questions here. Firstly, why do walk-ins happen? And what happened to the soul you had previously? Where does it go when it leaves?
Okay. First off, walk-ins occur with a agreed upon situation. And so there has been a plan in place for hundreds of years. It could have been 50 years. I don't know how long that plan was derived. But the soul that was in the body left and has continued on its journey, whether that was for soul healing, to prepare for reincarnation, I have no idea. But I do know that when I entered the body, I came in through the top of the head and helped propel that soul outward, because it was very, very weary. It was very tired, and I believe that it must have taken on a little more than it could handle. And so it left. And I do remember when Barbara Lamb did a regression with me. I saw the soul coming in, and then I saw the soul leaving, and there was a ship waiting for that soul. And so that soul was an Arcturian soul, and it had already imprinted various neurological subset that I would need to be able to come in, because I also came in as an Arcturian soul. And so there was already a blueprint that I could start to build from. And so again, I guess there's always a soul contract, and it's agreed upon situation, and the soul that I had left and continued on its journey.
So, yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this all. Um, you say you so yeah. So what did the soul look like when you saw it coming in? Can you remember?
Um, it was it was almost like it was just pure white light, and it just happened just like this. So it was more or less like a streak that I saw come in. And then being in the body, it was like it was there for just a millisecond, and then the other soul went out. And when it did, it was kind of like a flash of light, and then it went up. You know, it wasn't something that was slowed down, that I actually saw, very slowly, an essence leaving the body. And that's
Yeah.
what I would envision it would be. But from the experience, and then what I saw again with Barbara Lamb, it
Mm,
was just very quick and a flash.
yeah. So you mentioned the Arcturians, and we've heard quite a lot about the Arcturians. Um, uh, I mean, we as a Christian, I think of a soul being delivered from heaven.
Yes.
Um, I mean, are all the souls in one place? Are they all one species? You mentioned Arcturian. I mean, I thought a soul would actually be neutral.
Okay. My understanding of what I came in with is we all are part of source, being God. Everything is God. There is one God. There are many creator aspects to that, but there is one God, one source. And from this source, it is a conscious essence. And this essence desired to grow, to know itself, to be able to experience. And that's why we are here, to experience. Everything that we know, we learn, is kind of uploaded, all right? So we
Hmm.
could look at ourselves kind of as mini computers. When source fractalized and went out, there were many other essences that I plan to talk about in the next book that I'll be writing on the soul. However, for now, what was developed is, for me, I heard the Shantias Khan. Okay. The Shantias Khan holds all of our memories, all of our experiences, all of our everything that we have from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. That is a part of source. Okay. As we come in, I saw everything as a swirl like this. And
Right.
we come into the human form and attach. That swirl is considered our higher self. Okay. what attaches to the body becomes the soul. And the soul is then the personality of the lifetime. And if you want to, you could even look at the Shantias Khan as being the big soul and the little soul, okay?
Yep.
Because our souls are so massive. But what I also understood is that because our souls are so massive, we're having multiple experiences all at the same time. Some people can tap into that through prayer, through meditation, and they can experience or just get a glimpse of some of those other lifetimes. Some people think that past lives that we're remembering are also experiences that we're currently having because the Shantias Khan is so big. And so when we come in, that essence is still connected to the Shantias Khan through the higher self, and the Shantias Khan itself being part of God or source.
Hmm. So is the soul like the spirit?
This, I see the soul and the spirit as, excuse me, as being two different things. To me, the spirit is that action portion, and I didn't go into that because the concept, as you said, you have to wrap your brain around it to
Mm-hmm.
begin with. But if you'll think of the ocean, and the ocean being the Shantias Khan, and if you take a bucket and you dip water into the ocean, out of the ocean, that being the higher self, and you pour that water into a cup, the cup being the human vessel or form,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and the water that comes in is the soul. The action of pouring that water is your spirit. That's what enlivens things. That's what, kind of gives us our mojo through life. And the spirit, the soul, the higher self, it's all really the same thing, but for purposes of the way that we're taught,
Mm-hmm.
we like to categorize. And so these are just names.
Yeah. So the soul is not tied to to one vessel or one body for a lifetime. What about near-death experiences? When they leave their body and then they supposedly come back. Do souls change place in those situations?
They can, however, not always. Some people that have a near-death experience will go into, we'll call it a different realm, or the etheric or the astral plane, and they have an experience while they are there, and then they're called back into their body. And so that energy all returns. Some people, through a near-death experience, like several in the book, they have a near-death experience and they become detached, because my understanding is the soul is attached through a silver cord. And once that cord is severed, the soul leaves. But the body, the physical body, has to have a soul in order to be animated, in order to have life. And so if you're having a near-death experience and that silver cord is severed,
Mm-hmm.
if there is a pre-agreement, yes, another soul could come in, or the original soul comes back. And that original soul we call the natal soul.
In the book, and we're talking about the book called Walk-ins, The Cosmology of the Soul, Barbara Lamb wrote a foreword, and she talks about meeting a woman in her 40s who walked into her human body from a higher spiritual plane. And in pretty quick time, she ended up divorcing her husband so she could carry out her mission. I thought that was a little bit drastic at the time, where a change of souls takes place, and the person you're married to suddenly is not the person you want to be with. It's a little bit hard on them.
It can be very hard on them. And, I'm sure each situation is different. But when people marry, they come together because they have a like resonance, a very same frequency. They may have the same interests, the same life goals. But if you have a new soul that comes in that has a mission of their own separate from what they were originally committed to in the marriage, then that soul doesn't have a resonance with this person because they're no longer part of their mission. Now, not all walk-ins that arrive go through divorce experiences. However, a majority of them do, but it is only because that And they too, because I believe in soul plans, and so they have agreed that this will occur to them as well.
Another one of the examples in the book that really caught my attention was when a procedure was taking place with a particular for a particular gentleman who was about to have a walk-in performed, and right before the walk-in was about to take place, the soul that was about to walk in said, well, his team thanked the surgeons and then wished him luck, and then thanked the sacrifice he made for releasing him. So I got the feeling that several times during the book that coming into a human body is not a soul's first choice. It seems like it's, you know, coming here to be a human is somewhat of an ordeal.
Well, it definitely is an ordeal, because there are so many rules with this planet. There's so many limitations. Even 20 years after being in the body, I still struggle with manifestation because I want it right now. And it's like, I can't understand, or I can't wrap my brain around. It's like, okay, this is how manifestation occurs. I know how to get from point A to point B, but there's this lag time. And we also agree that we're going to forget everything. And so I didn't come in, unlike some people, I did not come in knowing that I was a walk-in. It was a process of self-discovery, of remembering who I was. And with this particular gentleman, he was able to witness something that I didn't witness. And so I can't speak, I can only express what he shared with me. But I do know that prior to coming in, there has to be a lot of preparation to the body, and not just the physical body, but the emotional body, the spiritual body, etc. And so we have what's called the etheric blueprint. And a lot of people are able to see this. If you unfocus your eyes and someone is sitting up against a wall, a lot of times you might see like a glow around the body. That's the etheric blueprint. That's the information that came in that is truly who you are. And it has everything there. It has everything you're going to need to operate as a human. And from there, we go out to the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. There are many different bodies. So when a soul comes in, there has to be, not always, but the majority of the time, these bodies have to be loosened. And they have to be taken out and replaced before the soul can come in, because the energy of a new soul coming in, especially in my case to a very sick body, basically could fry the circuits. Now, one lady that came in was already in a coma. One person was having a near-death experience. So there's lots of different situations and scenarios that are set up. Sometimes a soul has such a like resonance with the new soul that's going to come in that you just have to have an upgrade out here. But in many, many cases, there has to be a loosening of these bodies, and very carefully, they have to be replaced with a subset, a new program. So that's exactly what this gentleman was describing that was occurring. And I know a lot of people think that when we're out of the body, that, you know, we're in this etheric state and we just, you know, we kind of float around, or we're angels. And that's not the case that I have found, although I did come from a collective of souls that is very essence filled. But there's also a lot of times it's just like being on earth and everybody has a job to do. You know, eternity is a long time. You know, just think about that. Forever is a long, long time. And so we have other jobs that we do when we're on the other side and outside of this third dimensional physical realm. And so what Robert was witnessing was a surgeon who was coming with his expertise to loosen these bodies. And Robert had the opportunity to witness this with his support. Now, everyone that incarnates, not just walk-ins, but everyone that incarnates has their own spiritual team. A lot of people call them guardian angels. A lot of people call them their guides, their teachers. It's just a name that we give them, but we have support from the other side. We are always connected with Source. We're always connected with God. We're always connected with our team. We are never alone, even though we feel like it. And because we have jobs on the other side, if we're not utilizing our team, they're just sort of standing around like, do, what's going on? Hello, Sheila, can you hear me?
Yep.
Kind of thing. They've got a job to do. And so honestly, they've dedicated this time period of our life to assist us. So we really owe it to them to allow them to assist us. They're that little still voice we hear in our head.
Yeah.